explain to anyone, Jiang Wei thought for a while and said softly. That's fine then, I'll trouble President Jiang with this matter. With that, Lin Feng hung up the phone. I didn't expect Tanyu Company to want to buy the film and television rights of my novel. This is going to be fun to watch. Thinking of this, a slight smile appeared on Lin Feng's lips. Yang Wei's personality is characterized by decisive and vigorous action, and his efficiency in handling matters is astonishing. Just the next day, he immediately began to take action, actively contacting various film and television companies. Finally, after a series of intense negotiations and discussions, the dust settled. The film and television adaptation rights for the highly anticipated novel Zhu Zian were elevated to a price of 120 million, and the company that acquired the adaptation rights was none other than Tanyu Entertainment Company. When Jiang Wei joyfully delivered this exciting news to Lin Feng was so thrilled he couldn't close his mouth, his face beaming with uncontrollable joy. There's going to be a good show to watch from Tanyu Company next. However, within Tanyu Company, some people had reservations about buying the film and television adaptation rights for Zhu Zian for 120 million. In the spacious, brightly lit, and luxuriously decorated boss's office, Yang Fan, with a face full of reluctance, walked straight up to Yang Hao, who was leisurely sitting in a comfortable chair, puffing on a cigar, and eagerly questioned him. Brother, is it really worth spending such a huge amount of money to buy the film and television copyright for this novel Zhu Zian? You know, this expense is no small sum. Facing Yang Fan's doubts, Yang Hao remained unmoved, still leaning back in his chair with a calm demeanor, a fragrant cigar held between his fingers. After taking a light puff, he slowly exhaled a cloud of smoke, and then unhurriedly responded, Yang Fan, you are still too young and short-sighted. Do you know that in the music industry today, due to Lin Feng's sudden emergence and outstanding performance, Vanishing Stars is now unrivaled. Under these circumstances, if we were to confront him head-on, it would undoubtedly be like hitting a rock with an egg, bringing trouble upon ourselves. Since we cannot compete with him in music for now, why don't we try a different approach and turn our attention to TV drama production? As long as it's handled properly, I believe that with this incredibly popular novel Zhu Zian, we will certainly be able to create a film and television work that is both critically acclaimed and commercially successful. By then, we can leverage this momentum to regroup and rise again. But even if we make a TV series, we could film other things. Why does it have to be Zhu Zian? You know Zhu Zian was written by Lin Feng. If this gets out, wouldn't it implicitly prove that we acknowledge Lin Feng's talent? Yang Fan was somewhat puzzled. My foolish brother, who said this was written by Lin Feng? The author's name is clearly Long Aoshan, Yang Hao said with a smile. As for whether it was written by Lin Feng, we don't know, because we have no interest in news about Lin Feng. What a self-deceiving move. Moreover, at this point, Yang Hao took a deep drag from his cigar and continued, this novel Zhu Zian is so popular right now. If we adapt it into a film or TV series, we will definitely make a fortune. Making money, being a bit shabby is fine. Besides, this time we negotiated the price with Chinese novel website, so even if Lin Feng finds out, what can he do? Copyright isn't in his hands anyway. Yes, that's right. At this moment, Yang Fan also nodded and excitedly said, Lin Feng wrote so many words, but the copyright income has nothing to do with him, which really lets us vent our anger. And so, Tanyu Company grandly announced on its social media platform that it had acquired the film and television adaptation rights for the novel Zhu Zian at a high price, and also high-profilely declared that filming would begin in March, after the Spring Festival this year. This news immediately stirred up a huge wave on the internet. First, because the IP of Zhu Zian is very famous in the online literature world. Zhu Zian has almost topped all the charts, even though it has already concluded. At this point, some people asked, how could it update so quickly? It turned out that Lin Feng accidentally entered the wrong date when uploading, so he had no choice but to upload more than 30 chapters at once. Ultimately, Lin Feng threw caution to the wind and serialized the entire Zhu Zian within a short period of 6 months, at a rate of 7 chapters a day. This was a treat for Lin Feng's bookworm fans, but after they finished Zhu Zian, other novels seemed somewhat bland. Thus, they began to leave messages on Lin Feng's social media platform, asking him to start a new book. Lin Feng ignored all of these requests. Although the novel Zhu Zian has concluded, since its conclusion was only a few days ago, Lin Feng still receives over 10,000 in revenue every day, though it is unknown how long this revenue will last. Lin Feng felt it should last for a while. After all, the daily mutual scolding between Bai Yao fans and Lu Zuki fans kept the popularity of Zhu Ziyan from diminishing. Everyone believed that as long as someone adapted Zhu Ziyan into a film or TV series, or even an animation, it would definitely be a huge hit. The second reason is that the author of this novel Zhu Ziyan is none other than the currently immensely popular Lin Feng. Lin Feng, a super newcomer who rose like a comet, a singer-songwriter who combines lyrics, composition, and performance, whose every song can be described as a masterpiece among masterpieces, and the novel Zhu Ziyan came from his hands, which made people marvel even more. The third and most important point is that the entire entertainment industry knows that Lin Feng and Tianyu Company are at odds, which began when Tianyu Company slandered Lin Feng and was severely slapped in the face by him. Just yesterday, Ye Xiaoyu even hired people to hold banners downstairs at Tianyu Company, demanding repayment. However, now Tianyu Entertainment Company is actually adapting Lin Feng's novel. Does this mean the two sides have reconciled? But soon, insiders informed fans that for novels written on Chinese novel website, the copyright belongs to the novel website, meaning that this time's copyright purchase actually has nothing to do with Lin Feng. It was Tianyu Entertainment Company that negotiated directly with Chinese novel website, and the outcome, whether Lin Feng liked it or not, was irrelevant to him. This angered Lin Feng's fans, as the novel was written with Lin Feng's painstaking effort, yet Tianyu Entertainment Company took advantage of a loophole. It was truly unbearable, so Lin Feng's fans once again bombarded Tianyu Entertainment Company's social media platform. But no matter how much the fans protested and boycotted, Tianyu Entertainment Company acquiring the film and television adaptation rights for Zhu Ziyan was already a done deal and unchangeable. Regarding those fans who said they wouldn't watch even if it was filmed, Yang Hao's mouth curved into a slight smile. He knew these fans too well. Although they said they wouldn't watch, they would probably be the first to tune in once it aired. However, this incident caused unexpected trouble for everyone at Chinese novel website, because the copyright was indeed in Lin Feng's hands, and with a copyright fee of 120 million, after deducting necessary expenses, Lin Feng actually profited around 50 million. But since Lin Feng didn't let them speak, they naturally wouldn't. Otherwise, if Lin Feng got angry and didn't publish his next novel on their website, that would be interesting. And this news was also known by Ye Xiaoyu and Sun Wei in the first instance, so the two of them rushed to Lin Feng's house in a hurry. Try this, it's delicious. It's a new dish we just launched. Inside Ye Xiaoyu's villa, she and Lin Feng were leisurely enjoying dinner. With the new year approaching, Ye Xiaoyu was so swamped with year-end summaries at her company that she didn't even have time to eat. Today, she finally managed to leave work early, so Ye Xiaoyu packed some food to take home, intending to spend some quality private time with Lin Feng. Unlike other successful individuals and entrepreneurs, Ye Xiaoyu wasn't particularly fond of candlelight dinners or steaks. The catering company under her umbrella also promoted Chinese cuisine. Wow, this braised chicken smells so good, and it's not greasy at all. It's so delicious, Lin Feng exclaimed after eating a piece of chicken. Right? Xiao Tong discovered this braised food stall when she was on a business trip a while ago. Xiao Tong brought some back, and after I tasted it, I immediately decided to add this braised dish to our Delicious Cum menu. Delicious Cum, that was the name of the catering company under the E Group. Oh, how did the negotiations go? Lin Feng asked with a smile. The owner of that braised food stall has already agreed to our cooperation. Next, his braised dishes will be incorporated into our Delicious Cum catering. Not only that, but next year, we also plan to find someone to process the secret braising sauce from the stall into sauce packets, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. All right, let's not talk about these things. We finally got off work, so no more business talk, Ye Xiaoyu said at this point, then picked up a piece of chicken and brought it to Lin Feng's mouth. Ah, Ye Xiaoyu coaxed playfully. Ah, Lin Feng didn't refuse, opening his mouth wide. Bang bang bang, just as the chicken entered his mouth, someone knocked on the door, and judging by the sound, they seemed quite anxious. Coming, stop knocking, I still need this door. Lin Feng quickly opened the door. People standing there were none other than Ye Xiaoyu and Sun Wei. Oh Xiao Fan, you're out of the hospital? Lin Feng said with a smile upon seeing Ye Xiaoyu. Originally, Ye Xiaoyu was only supposed to stay in the hospital for a day, but ever since Ye Xiaoyu visited him, he reportedly fainted again. Lin Feng hadn't expected him to show up today. "Brother-in-law, what were you thinking? Why didn't you tell us about such an important matter?" Ye Xiaoyu didn't answer Lin Feng's question, but instead asked. Looking at Sun Y and then at Ye Xiaoyu, Lin Feng immediately understood the purpose of their visit. "Come in first," Lin Feng ushered the two inside. "Judging by how frantic you both look, you haven't had dinner yet, have you?" With that, Lin Feng went back to the kitchen and brought out 2 more sets of bowls and chopsticks, asking Ye Xiaoyu and Sun Y to sit down. "Try this, your sister bought it. It tastes pretty good," Lin Feng said with a smile, serving each of them a piece of chicken. However, although Ye Xiaoyu and Sun Y had sat down, they didn't pick up their chopsticks. Seeing their aggressive, accusatory demeanor, Lin Feng hadn't said anything yet, but Ye Xiaoyu wasn't having it. As the big boss of a group, especially a female boss, no one had ever dared to throw a tantrum in front of her. Even if they weren't throwing a tantrum at her, they were doing so at Lin Feng. Throwing a tantrum at Lin Feng was also unacceptable. After all, he was her sugar daddy. Hey, you two don't take advantage of my kindness. Ye Xiaoyu, your brother-in-law served you food. What kind of look are you giving him? What do you want me, your older sister, to feed you too?" Ye Xiaoyu tapped on the table and said to Ye Xiaoyu. "I say, brother-in-law, what were you thinking? Have you been with my sister for so long that your brain is broken?" Ye Xiaoyu said while touching Lin Feng's forehead. "Whoa, what are you doing?" Lin Feng quickly stopped him. "Not hot, huh? Then why would you do something so foolish?" Ye Xiaoyu continued. "What exactly happened?" Ye Xiaoyu asked. "It's like this, Xiaoyu Jai, Lin Feng sold the film and television adaptation rights of the novel Zhu Zian to Tianyu Company," Sun Y said softly at this point. "No, Lin Feng, are you crazy?" Ye Xiaoyu also stood up at this moment, touched Lin Feng's forehead, and then touched her own. "You don't have a fever? How could you do something so foolish?" "I said, that's enough. Are you two done or not?" Lin Feng said, exasperated, then looked at Ye Xiaoyu and Sun Y. "I get it now. You two came here today to demand an explanation." "Lin Feng, gee, what were you thinking? You have to know that Zhu Zian is a huge IP now, and the plot is so good. If it were adapted into a TV series, it would be incredibly popular," Sun Y said, expressing his thoughts. "If Vanishing Stars were to film it, Vanishing Stars would definitely make a name for itself in the film and television industry." Apart from these 3 people present, no one knew that the copyright for Zhu Zian had always been in Lin Feng's hands. Make a name for itself? Hearing Sun Y's words, Lin Feng chuckled. "How would you do that?" "Brother-in-law, you don't know, but now, some web novel adaptations already have a lot of traffic. Otherwise, do you think these film and television companies are fools, spending so much money to buy adaptation rights?" Ye Xiaoyu also chimed in at this point. "I admit, there's some truth to what you're saying," Lin Feng nodded at this point, and then continued, "but haven't you noticed that most of the adapted works are romance novels?" "What's wrong with that?" Ye Xiaoyu was a little confused. Current romance novels are generally short to medium length, and they don't require elaborate grand scenes, just the love between a man and a woman. "How much money can that cost?" Lin Feng said with a smile. Zhu Zian, however, is different. It's a medium to long length novel with grand settings. Just imagine how much funding would be needed to fully recreate the Zhu Zian in your minds. "I understand," Ye Xiaoyu laughed at this point. "Because the worldview of Zhu Zian is too grand, the cost of fully bringing it to life would be enormous. If it's not handled well, it could very likely turn into a bad movie." "Exactly, Zhu Zian is almost entirely special effects, which is incredibly expensive. In fact, if Tianyu Entertainment were to adapt it into an animation, there might be a glimmer of hope, but now they actually want to make it into a TV series? Isn't that just asking for trouble?" Lin Feng said with a smile. "Brother-in-law, hearing you say that, I'm almost looking forward to Tianyu Entertainment Company starting production soon," Ye Xiaoyu said with an evil laugh. Despite saying this, deep down he couldn't help but feel a touch of regret. Sun Y, of course, understood the meaning behind Lin Feng's words. After all, the worldview constructed by the novel Vanishing Stars was simply too grand and vast. Even looking at the world today, it would be an almost impossible task for top production teams from overseas to fully recreate all the scenes in the book, let alone the current environment in China's film and television industry, which tends to prioritize rapid output and fast, food-style productions. If Vanishing Stars were truly adapted into a film or TV series, it might initially attract the attention and anticipation of many original fans due to its powerful IP influence during its premiere. However, as the old saying goes, the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. One must know that the novel Vanishing Stars is lengthy, and a single series clearly cannot present the entire story vividly. Once the first production greatly disappoints the hopeful fans, it would be very difficult for subsequent second and third parts to gain their support and favor. In this way, this originally highly anticipated film and television adaptation project is very likely to end quietly, leaving many to sigh with regret. By then, Tianyu Entertainment Company might truly face a series of catastrophic consequences, such as losing all its capital and having its reputation ruined. Just imagining such a scene, Ye Xiaoyu couldn't suppress the joy and excitement in his heart, as if he had already seen Tianyu Entertainment Company heading towards decline. Just then, Ye Xiaoyu suddenly asked, "Oh, by the way, Xiao fan, how's that film and television company you and Sun Y set up doing? Have you started filming? If there's still no movement, just disband it and quickly return the money your brother-in-law invested." She stared at Ye Xiaoyu and Sun Y with a serious expression, her tone very earnest. Hearing his sister's words, Ye Xiaoyu and Sun Y were instantly speechless. Especially Ye Xiaoyu, after his experiences over these past days, he had recovered from the huge reversal of being Xiao Nai to a great devil. At this moment, he stared at Ye Xiaoyu with wide eyes, his expression somewhat disbelieving, and said, "Sister, I'm your own brother. I can understand you being so considerate of my brother-in-law, but why do I always feel like you're intentionally implying something about me?" "Me? Implying something about you?" Hearing Ye Xiaoyu's words, Ye Xiaoyu found it somewhat amusing. "If I have something to say, I'll just confront you directly. Why would I need to imply it? Are you overestimating yourself?" Ye Xiaoyu spoke very seriously, and Ye Xiaoyu almost jumped up to retort, but then he thought about it. What Ye Xiaoyu said was damn right. "Xiaoyu Jai, regarding this matter, I must explain it to you properly. It's like this." Sun Y, seeing Ye Xiaoyu being as timid as a younger brother at this moment, volunteered to speak. "Look, Xiaoyu Jai, our Vanishing Stars Entertainment Company in terms of music started with Brother Lin's Sunny Day, which is a very high bar. So our first film and television drama for Vanishing Stars Film and Television Company must also be done well. I can't possibly tarnish our Vanishing Stars brand, can I? Then I would like to ask our director Sun, it's already been half a year, hasn't it? When will you start your debut work?" Ye Xiaoyu asked, "so I can carefully watch it during my free time." "Don't worry, Xiaoyu Jai, I will make you wait long, just you wait and see. However, there are still a few minor issues that haven't been resolved yet. If these small problems are fixed, then everything else will go smoothly." Sun Y patted his chest, guaranteeing it. "What small problems?" Ye Xiaoyu asked. "Then you guess to see if I'm right." Before Sun Y could speak, Ye Xiaoyu took over the conversation. "The problems you're currently facing are, not enough money, actors undecided, no script yet." "Oh my brother Lin, you really are my idol, how do you know so clearly?" Sun Y quickly grabbed Lin Feng's hand and said excitedly. This left Lin Feng speechless. He had only thought of that line, but he never expected that Lin Feng would actually hit the mark. Actually, the most crucial factor lies in the script. As of now, we have received several scripts, but without exception, these stories all seem bland and fail to pique anyone's interest. Sun Y explained the current predicament with a helpless expression. Just then, the moment the word script reached Lin Feng's ears, his eyes suddenly lit up, and he seemed to be ignited, instantly becoming excited. Lin Feng smiled, his gaze slowly sweeping over Ye Xiaoyu and Sun Y, and confidently said, "If it's just a script, that's no problem at all, because I have the ability to write it myself." Hearing this, Ye Xiaoyu couldn't help but widen his eyes, staring at Lin Feng with a face full of suspicion, and asked incredulously, "Brother-in-law, you're going to write the script yourself? Is this true or false? Can you really do it?" Clearly, Ye Xiaoyu was truly unsure about Lin Feng's offer to write the script. However, before Lin Feng could respond, Ye Xiaoyu, who was beside him, couldn't sit still. She frowned slightly, glared at Ye Xiaoyu playfully, and indignantly retorted, "What do you know, you brat? Since your brother in-law can create such a brilliant and classic novel like Vanishing Stars, then a mere television drama script would be effortless for him, wouldn't it? Clearly, Ye Xiaoyu was extremely displeased with others questioning Lin Feng's ability. At the same time, Sun Wai also quickly nodded in agreement, expressing his concurrence with Ye Xiaoyu's view. Indeed, Brother Lin has already become a household literary giant with Vanishing Stars. His talent is beyond doubt. I believe with Brother Lin's strength, he will certainly be able to create more excellent and captivating scripts. All right, Sun Wai, what type of script do you want to write? Is it historical or modern? Lin Feng asked. What genre? Is it a suspense drama, or a horror drama, or an urban drama, or a wuxia drama, or an xiangxia drama, or a mythology drama, or a sitcom, or a comedy? Whatever you can name, I can write it for you. Lin Feng listed so many genres for Sun Wai to choose from in one breath, which stunned Ye Xiaoyu and the other two. Is he really that amazing? I haven't thought about it yet, but I hope to film a comedy first, Sun Wai said after thinking for a while. Simple. I'll send you the script before the new year, Lin Feng said very arrogantly. A comedy script? Lin Feng was pleased. What about My Own Swordsman, Apartment, Elite Ops? Aren't these all comedies? Lin Feng was full of confidence for this, but then he had a second thought. Since he had already dug a big pit for Tianyu Entertainment to jump into, wouldn't it be a bit inappropriate to add more dirt after they jumped in? Better to die sooner and reincarnate. Lin Feng thought he was still too kind. Sun Wai, what do you think if we also film a wuxia drama? I'll take care of the script. Wuxia. Sun Wai fell into deep thought. This was his first movie, and filming a wuxia drama would be quite challenging. Brother-in-law, why must it be wuxia? Ye Xiaoyu was a bit puzzled. I think your brother-in-law wants to compete with Tianyu Entertainment. Ye Xiaoyu didn't understand, but Ye Xiaoyu had completely guessed Lin Feng's intentions. Exactly, that's what I'm thinking. Lin Feng nodded and said with a smile. Immediately, Lin Feng told Ye Xiaoyu and Sun Wai all his thoughts. Good idea, let's do wuxia. This time we must fiercely crush Tianyu Entertainment. Upon hearing it was about dealing with Tianyu Entertainment, Ye Xiaoyu was boiling with excitement. He wished he could splash all his hot blood on Lin Feng's face. All right then, give me some time. I will definitely have the script ready before the new year, Lin Feng said with full confidence. After dinner, once Ye Xiaoyu and Sun Wai had left, Lin Feng sat in front of his computer and began to ponder. What's wrong? Don't know how to write it. Ye Xiaoyu, having just finished showering, appeared behind Lin Feng, gently asking as she massaged his neck with her arms wrapped around him. Yes, it's a bit difficult, Lin Feng nodded. How about not writing today and thinking it over properly tomorrow? Ye Xiaoyu said softly. Like this, Lin Feng tore a piece of paper, then tore it into several small pieces, wrote something on each of them, crumpled them into balls, put them in a pen holder, shook it, and said to Ye Xiaoyu with a smile, pick one randomly. What do you mean? Ye Xiaoyu was completely bewildered by Lin Feng's actions. Pick one randomly. Lin Feng didn't explain, just told Ye Xiaoyu to pick one randomly. I really don't understand what you're thinking. Ye Xiaoyu helplessly grabbed a strip of paper from the pen holder and handed it to Lin Feng. Lin Feng took the paper strip and opened it. On it were 7 big characters. Rainbow Sky Blue Dream 7 Heroes, which was a modified name for Rainbow Cat Blue Rabbit 7 Heroes. Lin Feng gasped, is the first pick really this exciting? No sooner said than done. Lin Feng pondered for a moment and then typed 7 big characters into his document. Rainbow Sky Blue Dream 7 Heroes. And at this moment, in Lin Feng's mind, all the plots of Rainbow Cat Blue Rabbit 7 Heroes transformed into text, and even some parts that were more childish were modified. It was the same as when he wrote Jade Dynasty. His hands flew across the keyboard, typing rapidly, character after character forming beautiful sentences. Ye Xiaoyu watched intently as lines of text appeared from nothing on Lin Feng's computer. The first episode was the return of the demonic cult. Lin Feng typed very fast, and in less than half an hour, the rough content of the first episode was written by Lin Feng. Alright, that's all for today. After finishing, Lin Feng stretched and said, then looked at the astonished Xiaoyu beside him and asked with a smile, Xiaoyu, what's wrong? All of this was conceived by you just now? Xiaoyu asked in surprise. How is it? Aren't I so talented that you love me even more? Lin Feng teased. As he spoke, Lin Feng leaned in and kissed Ye Xiaoyu's lips. After a long while, Lin Feng and Ye Xiaoyu finally broke apart. Lin Feng straightened his bathrobe and said with a smile, "I'm going to take a shower. When you leave later, please turn off the computer for me." "Oh, okay." Ye Xiaoyu nodded. After Lin Feng entered the bathroom, Ye Xiaoyu sat at the computer desk and reread the story Lin Feng had just written. It was so exciting, especially the great battle between Hong Feng and Blackheart Tiger. Although it was only described in text, Ye Xiaoyu could visualize the scene of the two fighting. And most importantly, Lin Feng had put all those paper strips together just now, and she had randomly chosen this one. In other words, Lin Feng's frustration while sitting at the computer desk just now wasn't because he couldn't write, but because he had too many scripts of this type in his mind and didn't know which one to write. So, Lin Feng had her make that decision for him. Opening the remaining paper strips, it was indeed true that the text written on each strip was different. The bad guys, number 1 under heaven, the eccentric swordsman Plum Blossom, Storm Riders, and so on. Was each name a different story? Ye Xiaoyu felt somewhat incredible, but having understood this, Ye Xiaoyu then thought of another thing. When Lin Feng was making a bet with Tianyu Entertainment, at that time, Lin Feng boldly declared he would write 10 songs in 10 days, and everyone thought Lin Feng was crazy. What was even more insane was that Lin Feng asked the reporters on the spot for the themes of the songs. Whatever theme the reporters wanted, Lin Feng would write it. This was even crazier. But unexpectedly, Lin Feng really produced those 10 songs after 10 days. At moment, no one questioned Lin Feng's creative ability anymore. Even to this day, this incident is still frequently discussed, and each discussion marvels at Lin Feng's talent. Lin Feng's actions today were no different from back then, but this was a script. He could also let people randomly choose, and then Lin Feng would create based on the chosen theme. This was simply a fantasy. Even Ye Xiaoyu, as a participant and witness, found it unbelievable. Has this man's talent really reached such a level? Ye Xiaoyu thought to herself, then took out her phone and posted in her sister's group chat. "I always thought my husband was talented, but today I realized how incredibly talented my husband is. I truly love him to death. Oh my, what time is it, and you're still showing off your affection?" Invincible Pretty Girl immediately replied. "Xiaoyu, why are you also acting flirtatious late at night like Min Min?" Sexy little Lolita also replied. "What's the point of just loving? Conquer him with your sexy body and fiery passion, make him unable to get out of bed tomorrow." Queen Majesty also replied at this time. "Get ready to attack, my dear." As the new year approached, Ye Xiaoyu's company became increasingly busy, and she grew more and more swamped, leaving early and returning late every day. These past few days, she was often not at home, and even when she returned at night, the clock had already struck past midnight. Whenever night fell and all was silent, Lin Feng would always sit quietly in the living room, waiting for Ye Xiaoyu to return. Every time Ye Xiaoyu came back, Lin Feng would meticulously prepare delicious late-night snacks for her, and he never forgot Ye Xiaotong's portion either. Initially, when Ye Xiaotong realized her brother-in-law was so thoughtfully looking out for her, a wave of emotion welled up in her heart. This so-called emotion was shattered in an instant. This couple really couldn't go a second without showing affection. Watching the two of them being so lovey-dovey and affectionate while eating their late-night snack made Ye Xiaotong feel completely awkward, and the skewers in her hand suddenly didn't taste as good. Later, the clever Ye Xiaotong came up with a brilliant idea. Since staying there felt like sitting on pins and needles, she might as well, after safely escorting her sister Ye Xiaoyu home, conveniently pack up the late-night snacks Lin Feng had prepared and take them back to her own home to enjoy at her leisure. This way, she could savor the delicious food and avoid having to witness the couple's displays of affection. At the same time, Lin Feng had also not been idle during this period. Whenever he had a moment of free time, he immediately immersed himself in scriptwriting. At first, Ye Xiaoyu would occasionally come over excitedly to check on the plot's development, but after only 3 to 5 days, she stopped paying attention to it. The reasons for this were, firstly, her busy work schedule left her with no time to spare, and secondly, if she knew the entire script's plot trajectory in advance, she would likely lose much of the surprise and enjoyment when she watched the TV series adapted from it later on. Sunlight flashes across your smiling face. That image is already set as my phone wallpaper. Just as Lin Feng was writing furiously, his phone rang. Lin Feng looked at the caller ID. It was his younger sister, Lin Yu. Hello Yu. These days, if I don't call you, you don't call me either, do you? Lin Feng answered the phone, smiling. My brother is a big pop star. He's very busy. How can I disturb him so casually? Lin Yu's sweet voice came from the other end of the phone. What's wrong? Did you see something you like again? Lin Feng said with a smile. Brother, how can you say that? Can't a younger sister call her brother when she misses him? Girl, do you believe what you're saying? This time I really have something important to say. Mom and Dad asked me if you're coming home for the new year this year, Lin Yu asked. Of course I'm coming back, Lin Feng said, standing. Oh Xiao Feng, are you coming back alone for the new year, or are you coming back with someone? Mother Lin's words came from the other end of the phone. Did you hear that? Mom is asking if you're coming back alone, or with your sister-in-law, Lin Yu said with a smile. This question stumped Lin Feng, and for a moment, he didn't know how to answer. What's wrong, brother? I'm telling you, actually Dad wanted you to bring sister-in-law home a long time ago, Lin Yu said softly. That was when Lin Feng and Ye Xiaoyu officially started dating, and at that time, Lin Feng even posted their wedding photos online. This matter caused a huge sensation throughout the entire entertainment industry and even the business world. Lin Yu naturally also saw this news, and Lin Yu immediately told her parents about it. When Father Lin and Mother Lin found out, they were so happy. They hadn't expected that Lin Feng, this rascal, had not only made a name for himself but had also gotten married. And the woman's identity was even more extraordinary, a CEO of a group. She had even been personally received by the higher-ups. After Father Lin found out, he originally wanted to call Lin Feng immediately and ask him to bring Ye Xiaoyu home. But he was stopped by Mother Lin. Old man, what's the rush? Mother Lin stopped Father Lin from making the call, gently tapping him as she spoke. What's wrong? My son is married. Of course, I want to have a good look at my daughter-in-law. You've all met her, but I've never seen her in person. Look at our house in this state, and you want Xiao Feng to bring her back? Didn't you just say that she's the CEO of a group? What do you think she'd think if she came to our house now and saw it like this? When encountering such matters, women always think more and more carefully than men. Then what should we do? Father Lin asked. Xiao Feng gave me some money, so, isn't there still almost 2 months until the new year? We'll thoroughly redecorate the house, and then Xiao Feng can bring the girl back for the new year. Mother Lin thought for a moment and said softly. I think that's a good idea. I'll go find someone to do it tomorrow. Father Lin nodded. But if the house is being redecorated, where will we live? Father Lin asked at this point. We can rent a house to live in first, Lin Yu said with a smile at this moment. Renting a house outside is very expensive. Father Lin was a bit pained by the money. Don't worry, big brother is super rich now. We don't need to be so restrained anymore. Also, Dad, leave the renovation of the house to me. It just so happens that my classmate's father does this kind of work, Lin Yu interjected at this point. Oh, no wonder you didn't let me come back these past few days. I thought something had happened, so that's what it was. Lin Feng nodded and said. Yes, now that the house is almost renovated, Mom and Dad are thinking about you and sister-in-law, Lin Yu said with a smile. Okay, tell Mom and Dad that I will definitely bring Xiaoyu back to celebrate the new year with them. Lin Feng didn't want to disappoint his parents, so he agreed on behalf of Ye Xiaoyu. Okay, I understand, Lin Yu replied happily. By the way, Yu, the house has just been renovated. Tomorrow, go buy a formaldehyde removal machine. If we start using it today, I think the new house will be free of formaldehyde by the new year. I'll transfer the money to you in a bit. Lin Feng suddenly thought of the formaldehyde issue at this moment and quickly told Lin Yu. I know, I'm going shopping with a classmate tomorrow anyway. I'll buy one then. After chatting with Lin Yu for a while longer, he then hung up the phone. After hanging up, Lin Feng was a bit troubled. How should he tell Ye Xiaoyu about this? Don't worry, I'll definitely bring your sister-in-law back for Chinese New Year. What? I shouldn't speak too soon? Don't worry, your sister-in-law will definitely come back. If she doesn't, I'll beat her. Women, I've spoiled her. Lin Feng said spiritedly. All right, you should rest early. Oh, by the way, is the person you're going out with tomorrow a male or female classmate? Female? Female is fine. Okay, I'm hanging up. Lin Feng hung up the phone, tossed it aside, and took a cigarette from a drawer to light it. How should I tell Ye Xiaoyu about this? Lin Feng was troubled, then he opened the Kindu search engine. If my wife is a trillionaire CEO, how do I establish my family status? These online answers are no good. After reading for a while, Lin Feng closed the website and then retyped into the search bar, how to convince my wife to come home with me for Chinese New Year. Delete. Although they are nominally husband and wife, in reality, they are just boyfriend and girlfriend. How to convince my girlfriend to come home with me for Chinese New Year. This isn't working either. After looking at dozens of netizens' suggestions, none of them worked. Soon, a cigarette was finished. Lin Feng thought about having another one, but then decided against it. Ye Xiaoyu didn't want him to smoke too much. What should I do? Lin Feng looked melancholic and searched again. How to flatter my girlfriend. Immediately, the netizens' answers were all about taking her to eat delicious food, buying a branded bag, and so on. But delicious food? The Ye Group's main business is catering, so delicious food is out of the question. As for buying a branded bag? Are you kidding? A regular lipstick for Ye Xiaoyu costs 5 figures to start. A branded bag? What's the difference between that and an ordinary baby for Ye Xiaoyu? What should I do now? This really worried Lin Feng. Click. Just as Lin Feng was still lost in thought, the downstairs door opened. He didn't need to think to know that Ye Xiaoyu was back. He checked the time, 8 in the evening. Ye Xiaoyu was back a bit early today. Ye Xiaoyu is back. Lin Feng quickly went downstairs. Why are you so early today? I didn't expect things to go so smoothly today. Ye Xiaoyu sat on the sofa, took off her jacket, and placed it aside. I'll make you something to eat, Lin Feng said, walking towards the kitchen. No need, Xiao Tong and I already ate out, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. At this moment, Lin Feng walked behind Ye Xiaoyu and gently massaged her shoulders. Ah, that feels good. Ye Xiaoyu let out a moan. You should exercise more when you're free. Sitting for long periods isn't good for your cervical spine, Lin Feng said dotingly while massaging her. Ye Xiaoyu was very touched by his words, but for some reason, she recalled what the most flirtatious woman in this world had once said in their small group chat. If your boyfriend actively massages you when you come home, you must be careful. Why? Ye Xiaoyu was a bit confused. She thought that after a long day at work, her boyfriend actively massaging her was a sign of his love. There are many ways for a man to love a woman, but he will absolutely not actively massage her. If your boyfriend actively massages you, it's for one of 3 reasons. Queen Minmin lectured Ye Xiaoyu and the other 2 like a seasoned expert. The first is that he has ulterior motives, lust taking over. He's preparing to take advantage of the massage to touch you all over, and once you're dazed with pleasure, he'll take you down in one fell swoop. My 7th sugar daddy and I had a passionate night this way. The second is that he has done something to betray you, and 99.9% of the time, it's because he secretly hooked up with another girl. And he's already had a passionate relationship with that girl. My 13th sugar daddy was like that after a wild night with me. He went back and served his wife this way. Ye Xiaoyu, you need to take notes on this point. Lin Feng's current company supposedly has 2 more female celebrities, and there's also Zhang Xian. If these girls are even a little bit flirtatious, I estimate Lin Feng will be able to resist. The third situation is that he needs your help with something, and he's too embarrassed to ask. My 3rd sugar daddy did this when he needed a favor from me. Queen Minmin's words left the other 3 in the group stunned. Everything else is fine, Minmin. How could you hook up with a married man? Do you have to be so thirsty? Sexy little Lolita exclaimed in surprise. What do you know? It was the man who actively hooked up with me, okay, and that man is a big movie star XXX. Queen Minmin said, while you can't have a man of that quality long-term, a one-night stand is perfectly acceptable. Damn it, that's my male god. Min, you slut, you not only slept with my male god, you actually slept with my male god. Fortunately, sexy little Lolita was having none of it this time, launching into a tirade against Queen Minmin. That wasn't the point. The point was the 3 points Queen Minmin mentioned, which sounded quite plausible. As for the first point, Ye Xiaoyu felt that Lin Feng wasn't that kind of person. The second point, referring to the first point, Ye Xiaoyu felt that Lin Feng wasn't that kind of person. So, only the third point remained. Lin Feng had something to ask of her. This made Ye Xiaoyu a bit curious. Lin Feng definitely wouldn't need her help with work matters, especially since he didn't ask for her help even when he was targeted by half of the entertainment industry. Since it wasn't a work matter, then it must be a personal matter. Could it be Lin Feng's parents? No, a few days ago, when she asked about Lin Feng's parents, Lin Feng said they were doing very well. So what exactly could it be? Do you have something you want to tell me? Ye Xiaoyu asked with a smile, enjoying Lin Feng's massage. Come sit properly, I'll help you loosen your muscles. Lin Feng didn't answer. If you don't tell me, I'm going upstairs to shower and sleep, Ye Xiaoyu continued. Don't. Lin Feng immediately became anxious, then he stood up and started pacing back and forth. A slight smile appeared on Ye Xiaoyu's lips. Although Min Min was incredibly flirtatious, what she said made sense. She had also listened to Min Min's advice before and confessed to Lin Feng, which was how they got together. Looking back now, Min Min truly was a good mentor and friend to her. Ye Xiaoyu decided that if she had the chance, she would buy Min Min a cucumber. No, Ye Xiaoyu, you've been spending too much time with Min Min and you're getting a bit flirtatious too. You need to stay away from Min Min from now on. It's like this, Xiaoyu. Isn't the new year in a few days? I haven't spent New Year with my parents for several years, so this year I want to go back and celebrate with my parents and you. Lin Feng finally made up his mind and told Ye Xiaoyu about this. That's how it should be. Have you decided what to buy for New Year? Do you want me to ask Xiao Tong to buy it for you? Ye Xiaoyu said seriously. Whether to buy things or what to buy, these aren't important. After all, they're my own parents, no need to be too particular. It's just, this, that. Lin Feng didn't know how to start. What's this and that? How can our great singer be stammering? Will he still be able to sing in the future? Seeing Lin Feng's expression, Ye Xiaoyu laughed. How intelligent she was, she naturally knew what Lin Feng was about to say next. Are you trying to ask me to go back with you? Ye Xiaoyu's words made Lin Feng's eyes widen. This woman was too smart. Xiaoyu, are you willing? Lin Feng took a deep breath and asked. Since we are husband and wife now, it's only right that we go home for New Year together, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. However, I have one condition. Record right now, Lin Feng interjected before Ye Xiaoyu had even finished speaking. Record what? Ye Xiaoyu was a bit confused. Aren't we recording songs? Let's record now. I'll record 2 more songs for you, Lin Feng said. One must know that for Lin Feng, the most painful thing in this world was recording songs for Ye Xiaoyu. Now that Lin Feng was so proactive, it showed that he had completely thrown caution to the wind. My dear big brother, how busy am I right now? How could I have time to record songs? Ye Xiaoyu asked, looking at Lin Feng. Then what is your condition? Lin Feng asked. What condition? It's clearly 2 conditions, Ye Xiaoyu said. No, didn't you just say 1 condition? Now it's 2? Lin Feng was a bit confused. Don't you know that acting shamelessly is a woman's privilege? Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. Cough cough, big brother, my first condition is that when I'm free next year, you still have to help me record 2 songs. Lin Feng wanted to hit himself. Lin Feng, oh Lin Feng, you're usually so calm, why are you so impatient today? And the second condition? Lin Feng calmed himself down and then asked. Our company's annual meeting is in 4 days. For an annual meeting, who likes to watch the boss ramble on stage? It's better to invite a celebrity, they like to perform, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile, so I was thinking of having you bring Zai Feng and the others to liven up my company's annual meeting. I can go, but Zai Feng and the others probably can't, Lin Feng said helplessly. Why? Ye Xiaoyu was a bit puzzled. Zai Feng and the others aren't in Magic City right now. They've all gone to Capital City, Lin Feng said with a smile. Like Zai Feng and Xinyu, they've all received invitations to the Spring Festival Gala. Not only Zai Feng and the others, Chen Xiaoxi, Teacher Zhu Ershi, and Teacher Guo Gang Yuqian have also received invitations, Lin Feng said, a slight smile appearing at the corner of his mouth. Let me put it this way, all the artists of Fangxing Entertainment Company, except for me, are participating in the rehearsals for this year's Spring Festival Gala. Only you aren't? Ye Xiaoyu was a bit confused. Directors, you also called me, but I refused, Lin Feng said with a smile. I haven't spent New Year with my parents for several years, and it's so far away, I really don't want to go. Since everyone else isn't there, then you'll have to trouble you to sing a few more songs then, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. Naturally, Lin Feng said with a smile. After they had been affectionate for a while longer, Ye Xiaoyu took a shower, and then they each returned to their own rooms. Sisters, New Year is almost here, what are your plans? In the sisters group chat, Invincible Pretty Girl sent a message asking. For people from their kind of family, there was no tradition of celebrating New Year. After all, as their businesses grew larger and cooperation with foreign companies became closer, they usually worked 365 days a year, non-stop. If parents weren't home, then what New Year's atmosphere would there be? So usually at this time, the children of wealthy people would choose to travel. Sisters, how about we go to the island nation for hot springs? Soaking in hot springs in this cold weather must be very comfortable, sexy little Lolita replied at this moment. Okay, Shuang, I'll book the tickets now. What about you, Min and Xiaoyu? You wanna come along? Xiaoyu, you can bring your husband too, Invincible Pretty Girl said. Sister won't be going. This year, sister has important matters to attend to, so I won't be going with you alone, Her Majesty the Queen replied at this time, and as she spoke, she sent a photo to the group. Oh my, so handsome. At this moment, looking at the photo, Invincible Pretty Girl and sexy little Lolita exclaimed. This is sister's next target. Sister has already booked tickets to go on vacation with him to the Maldives. Just wait, sister is definitely going to eat him in the Maldives. As she spoke, Her Majesty the Queen also sent a cheer-up gesture. All right, it's truly you. Ye Xiaoyu was speechless for a moment, sending a few speechless emojis in the group. Min, remember to video call then. We also want to see how wild you can get, you saucy minx, Invincible Pretty Girl replied. If you mess around like that, be careful of getting sick, sexy little Lolita also replied. Don't worry, I'll have them all get checked beforehand, Her Majesty the Queen said proudly. What about Xiaoyu? Are you going to the island nation? If you are, I'll book 3 tickets, sexy little Lolita asked at this moment. No need, I'm going to see Lin Feng's parents for New Year, Ye Xiaoyu replied. Oh, the group immediately started to tease. Xiaoyu, you need to be careful, watch out for losing control and things getting out of hand, Invincible Pretty Girl replied. How is that possible? Ye Xiaoyu said. You silly girl, you and Lin Feng are going to see his parents, won't you have to stay there? Do you think Lin Feng's parents will let you sleep separately? Sexy little Lolita also replied with a smile at this moment. The little white rabbit is going to be eaten by the big bad wolf, Her Majesty the Queen became interested. Remember Xiaoyu, when that really happens, send me a video. I can guide you, or if verbal isn't enough, I can give you a demonstration, Her Majesty the Queen replied. Go to hell all of you, I don't know what you're thinking. I'm going to sleep first. Ye Xiaoyu's face was flushed at this moment. It won't really happen, will it? Ye Xiaoyu thought to herself, then very shyly buried her head in the covers. Time flew by like a white steed, passing in a flash, and several more days went by in the blink of an eye. After nearly half a month of unremitting effort and meticulous polishing, Lin Feng's script was finally completed. Of course, this so-called meticulous polishing merely involved changing the names of the characters within it. This worried Lin Feng to no end what names would be good. And when the script was entirely finished, he could not hide his excitement, eagerly picking up his phone to call Sun Wai and Ye Xiaofen, inviting them to come to his house at once. After all, back then, countless people hoped that the legend of Hong Mao and Lan 27 heroes could be adapted into a TV series, and now, perhaps, this wish was about to come true, which made Lin Feng incredibly excited. Before long, Sun Wai and Ye Xiaofen arrived at Lin Feng's house in a rush. As soon as they entered, before they even had a chance to exchange greetings, Lin Feng eagerly pulled the freshly printed script from the printer, handed it to them with anticipation, and gestured for them to start reading immediately. However, when Ye Xiaofen's gaze fell upon the striking title on the script's cover, Rainbow Sky Blue Dream 7 Heroes, the smile on his face instantly froze, replaced by a look of disdain and dissatisfaction. He frowned deeply, pouted his mouth, and grumbled, "Oh brother-in-law, look at this terrible name. You're a great talent who wrote classics like Zhu Zian. How could you come up with such a rustic script title? This name really lowers the standard. Can't we change it to something a bit more sophisticated?" As he spoke, Ye Xiaofen kept shaking his head, indicating that he absolutely could not accept the name. Watching his exaggerated expression, Lin Feng couldn't help but feel a bit exasperated. "Get out of here right now. If you want to read it properly. If not, give it back to me immediately." Lin Feng frowned, gently patted Ye Xiaofen's head, and reprimanded him in a low voice. I think you haven't been disciplined enough by your older female cousin, always acting so unruly. Ye Xiaoyu rubbed his head, looking wronged and pouted, retorting, Brother-in-law, you've really changed. You used to be so gentle with me, never speaking to me so fiercely like this. I think ever since you and my older female cousin got together, you've become a completely different person. Alas, it truly fulfills that saying, how can brotherly affection compare to spousal love, and how can the vastness of heaven and earth compare to one's own wife? After saying this, Ye Xiaoyu seemed to suddenly remember something, and he stormed into the living room, yelling at the top of his lungs, Ye Xiaoyu, get out here right now. Honestly, what kind of enchanting potion did you give my brother-in-law? How could you make him like this? Ye Xiaoyu, are you truly rebelling now? What gave you the audacity to speak to me like that? Just as Ye Xiaoyu's words fell, a crisp and sharp female voice suddenly rang out. Then, not long after, a figure appeared before everyone. Ye Xiaoyu was seen clutching a slipper tightly in her hand, her hair cascading wildly over her shoulders like a waterfall, and she strode over angrily. As she walked, she kept rolling up her sleeves, muttering and cursing under her breath, Little brat, it seems I haven't disciplined you enough, you scoundrel, making you so lawless and itching for a beating. Facing his older female cousin who was aggressively approaching him, Ye Xiaoyu's face turned pale with fright, and he almost burst into tears. He secretly cursed his bad luck. Normally around 8 in the morning, Sister Xiaotan would take his older female cousin to the company on time. It was precisely because of this that he dared to be a little presumptuous today, taking advantage of his older female cousin's absence to show off and act tough in front of his brother-in-law. But who knew, despite all his calculations, he didn't foresee such an unexpected situation today. Ideals are beautiful, but reality is cruel. Ye Xiaoyu was mercilessly lifted by his ear by his older female cousin Ye Xiaoyu, with such swiftness and force that even Lin Feng, watching from the side, felt a pang of pain. What was even worse was that Ye Xiaoyu didn't just simply lift it, she actually twisted it hard. Poor Ye Xiaoyu could only grimace, his face filled with pain. These past few days, Ye Xiaoyu had been leaving early and returning late. Sometimes Lin Feng would even have slept a full night, and she still hadn't returned, but she finally resolved all the company's pre-year Chinese letter. Thinking she didn't need to go to the company today, Ye Xiaoyu slept in. She had just woken up and washed, and hadn't even had time to do her hair when she heard Ye Xiaoyu spouting nonsense in the living room. Could Ye Xiaoyu tolerate him? She immediately picked up a slipper, ready to give Ye Xiaoyu a loving lesson. After being disciplined, Ye Xiaoyu glared at Lin Feng with eyes full of resentment, a look that seemed to convey endless grievances and complaints. Brother-in-law, you tricked me again. At this moment, Lin Feng looked a bit awkward and helpless. He returned Ye Xiaoyu a look that seemed to say, You wanted to show off yourself, now that you're a fool, what does it have to do with me? Ye Xiaoyu also noticed her younger brother Ye Xiaoyu's subtle movements. She suddenly turned her head and shouted, You little brat, what are you looking at? Why are you staring at your brother-in-law? Don't tell me your brother-in-law instigated you to say all this? Her voice was like a thunderclap, startling Ye Xiaoyu, who quickly averted his gaze. No, older female cousin, I was just joking. How would I dare to speak to you like that? Ye Xiaoyu quickly pleaded. In the entire Ye family, Ye Xiaoyu feared no one but two people, his older female cousin Ye Xiaoyu and his older female cousin Ye Xiaotan. So why was Ye Xiaoyu afraid of Ye Xiaotan? It was because Ye Xiaotan was always with his older female cousin, and if there was any conflict between the two, his older female cousin would 100% believe Ye Xiaotan and not him. Ultimately, he would be the one getting beaten. Joking? All right, older female cousin, I'll have a good laugh with you, shall I? With that, she continued to scold Ye Xiaoyu. In stark contrast to Ye Xiaoyu, Sun Wei was completely engrossed at this moment, unable to extricate himself. His gaze was fixed on the script in his hands, as if the entire world consisted only of those few dozen pages. Sun Wei was seen sometimes frowning deeply, seemingly worried about the protagonist's fate. Other times, the corners of his mouth would turn up, revealing a knowing smile, clearly moved by some interesting plot point in the story. At this moment, Lin Feng noticed Sun Wei's captivated expression and couldn't help but say with a smile, Xiao-sun, don't just stand there, come sit on the sofa. I'll go prepare lunch for you all. Hearing this, Sun Y looked up as if waking from a dream, a hint of lingering enjoyment still on his face. He quickly nodded at Lin Feng and said gratefully, "Okay, thank you, Brother Lin." After speaking, he eagerly redirected his attention back to the captivating script, continuing to read with great relish. Not long after, an enticing aroma wafted from the kitchen. At the same time, Ye Xiaoyu, who had just been lectured by Ye Xiaoyu, sat on the sofa and began to flip through the script. Ye Xiaoyu placed her slippers neatly, then walked to the vanity table, tidied herself up a bit, tied her scattered hair, and patted her rosy cheeks with satisfaction. Sun Y was completely engrossed in the script in his hands, so much so that he didn't even notice Ye Xiaoyu approaching. Ye Xiaoyu's lips curved into a gentle smile, and she softly asked, "Sun Y, what would you like to drink, tea or coffee?" Hearing the voice, Sun Y suddenly looked up, his gaze meeting Ye Xiaoyu's. He paused for a moment, then smiled and replied, "Sister, I don't really like coffee or tea. Do you have any sodas here?" Ye Xiaoyu nodded lightly when she heard this, then turned and walked towards the refrigerator. As she opened the refrigerator door, she looked back at Sun Y and said, "Won't a soda be a bit cold in this weather?" As she spoke, she had already taken out a bottle of ice-cold Pepsi from the refrigerator and handed it to Sun Y. Sun Y quickly reached out and took the Pepsi, saying gratefully, "Thank you, sister. I'm just used to this refreshing feeling." Just then Ye Xiaoyu, who had been ignored, couldn't stand it. He grumbled, "Sister, what about mine? How come you only give it to Sun Y and not me?" Ye Xiaoyu glared at Ye Xiaoyu and retorted unhappily, "Don't you have hands? If you want a drink, get it yourself. You're so spoiled." "No, sister. I'm your brother, your biological brother." Ye Xiaoyu immediately protested seriously, "I treat you like my older sister, and you treat me like a cousin. Get lost, you're spoiled. Drink it or don't." Ye Xiaoyu came to the sofa and handed the Pepsi to Sun Y. "Thank you, sister." Sun Y put down the script, opened the Pepsi, took a big gulp, then burped contentedly and said, "With so many types of drinks, Pepsi is still my favorite." "FFT, what do you know? Coca-Cola is the king of beverages. Compared to Coca-Cola, Pepsi is nothing." Ye Xiaoyu scurried off, grabbed a bottle of Coca-Cola for himself, and said to Sun Y, "Are you just getting one for yourself? Aren't you getting one for your brother-in-law?" Ye Xiaoyu then said to Ye Xiaoyu, "Where have your basic manners gone?" "Ye Xiaoyu, we're going to the hospital this afternoon. I want to see if you're really my sister or not." Ye Xiaoyu was on the verge of tears. Did his older sister feel uncomfortable if she didn't argue with him for even a second? He then got another drink for Lin Feng, but Lin Feng shook his head and told him to put it back in the refrigerator. "Come on, you know many big shots prefer Pepsi." Sun Y placed the Pepsi on the coffee table and rolled his eyes at Ye Xiaoyu, saying, "You know Zhang Tianqi from Long Hu Mountain, right? His favorite drink is Pepsi." "You're spouting nonsense. Yang Tianqi likes Pepsi? How daft would he have to be?" Ye Xiaoyu naturally didn't believe Sun Y's blabbering. "All right, stop talking nonsense. Dinner's ready, come and eat." At this point, Lin Feng's meal was prepared, and he called everyone to the table. "Do we have tomato and egg today?" Ye Xiaoyu came to the kitchen to help Lin Feng bring the dishes to the table. "Of course we do. You go out first, I'll just serve the soup," Lin Feng said with a smile. "Brother Lin, I'm not just flattering you, but this script you wrote is absolutely amazing. It's so fresh and passionate, it makes my blood boil." Honestly, as I read this script, I could already visualize the scenes in my mind. At the dinner table, after only a couple of bites, Sun Y eagerly said to Lin Feng, "I'm confident I can fully recreate all the plot points." "Is that so? Then I look forward to seeing what kind of work you can direct," Lin Feng said with a smile. "Just you wait, Brother Lin. There's still a week until the new year. During this week I won't do anything else. I'll focus on casting the actors first," Sun Y said with a smile. "By the way, Sun Y, regarding the actors, which ones do you think we should use?" Lin Feng asked, looking at Sun Y. "I'm not sure yet, but there are only a few excellent young actors in the market. I plan to talk to them then," Sun Y said softly. "Do you want to hear my opinion?" Lin Feng put down his chopsticks and said to Sun Y with a serious expression. "Brother Lin, if you have a good idea, please tell me," Sun Y asked, looking at Lin Feng. "My opinion is that all 7 swordsmen and the villain Nai Wushuang Hai Xiao, who in this play should be played by newcomers." "No, brother-in-law, are you serious?" Ye Xiaoyu looked at Lin Feng in surprise. "Aren't you afraid that no one will watch this drama then?" I believe that this wuxia drama has many fight scenes. Therefore, we must choose the best martial arts choreography team for the martial arts direction. And all young actors must undergo 3 months of special training before filming. Only after they have a certain foundation should we start shooting. This is the only way to guarantee the future quality of this drama. I think you all know better than I do the character of some of the established